Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. V back with another Age of Empires 3 Thursday, number 21, and the first one of 2024. I hope you guys had a great holiday season. I did take 1 week off to go spend some time with the family, but we are back, and we have a whole nother year of Age of Empires 3 in store, and maybe even some other games along the way. I am not planning on slowing down at all. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to another fun year with all of you and this wonderful community that we have. But enough of the sentimental talk, okay? It's not Christmas anymore. Let's get right into it. In the south of the map, playing in the color red, as the Ethiopians making their first appearance on the channel, we have our good friend Meloncola, who is fast becoming one of my favorite players. We did see him on the FFA 2 weeks ago for our Christmas episode, and I made the horrible mistake of stating that Meloncola was a 1300 ELO player. Ladies and gentlemen, he is in the top 30 of the entire leaderboard. This man is well above 2000 ELO. I don't know where I got the gumption to make such a mistake. I think I was looking at his team ELO and not his solo ELO, but I apologize. Meloncola, please do not strike me down, sir. And in the north of the map, playing in the color blue as the civilization Lakota, we have Grogu, also known as Alvaro in some circles, also a 2000 plus ELO player. So we're looking at two very high level competitors here today, playing on the map Finland, which is an interesting map. We've talked about it before, but just a quick rundown. We do have the two trading posts in the middle, the two sea routes. We have a couple of native posts, the House of Vasa. I guess they're not native posts, they're a different name. And then we have the House of Oldenburg, one on each side for both players. Will Ethiopia or Lakota utilize that? I doubt it, but we do see lots of treasures being picked up so far. 2 gunmen already for the Lakota chieftain touches the earth, which is actually a lot more appropriate than other explorer names we've been seeing recently. And getting 40 wood, a very nice pickup for him. Meanwhile, it looks like Meloncola has been picking up some good treasures of his own with Hail Michael. He did get the 75 food at the beginning, as well as a 10% wood chopping upgrade, which I didn't even know was a treasure on Finland. But that is going to be a huge boost to his economy early game, basically a market upgrade for free. And I don't know what either civ is going to be doing here. I think the ball is going to be in Grogu's court. I think that Lakota could play this, a couple of ways. He could go with the H2 aggression. We've seen a lot of really aggressive infantry builds from some pretty high-level players playing as Lakota. Or we might see something a little bit more fortress-oriented. It's kind of tough because Lakota doesn't have the greatest early game economy. However, he is aging up, and he is going to be at about the same age of time as Meloncola, if not a little bit behind. And it looks like Meloncola saving a shipment, not sending a shipment in the first age. So interesting choice there. And then Grogu, of course, sending the 3 villager card, has a ton of vills on wood right now. As does Meloncola, perhaps going to be getting a lot of infrastructure down early. We do have the market coming out of Grogu. We have the granary coming out from Meloncola, as well as a hut, another granary, and the livestock market. So getting all of that early game infrastructure down quickly, making the transition to food now, and now has all of his monasteries gathering coin. So he is going to go with a trading post in the early game, is Grogu, the Lakota player, and no trading post being taken by Ethiopia. I'm fairly sure that's pretty standard. However, I do not know the African civs as well as I know the traditional civs. So if I come across as noobish, number one, you should be used to it. And number two, please, as always, correct me in the comments. During the FFA, you guys gave me some really great insight on Mexico and what the Mexican player was doing that I wasn't understanding and what track wagons were. So I really appreciate that. Never be afraid to call me out in the comments. It is what makes the channel better, and it's what makes the community better. But we do see Grogu sending the 4 axe riders, so perhaps we are going to see some aggression here. A corral and a tribal marketplace going down. Going to be gathering some coin. The mountain monastery is up. The 2 red sea wagons are now out, and Meloncola is starting to get his cattle in. He did send 700 wood. And, oh no. Okay, so he sent the Trinity card. I apologize. He did send an Age 1 card. It was just one of the infinite cards, so I didn't see it grayed out. But in come the 4 Axe Riders. Has Meloncola spotted this? He has. Okay, so Meloncola knows this raid is coming. He's going to be able to see it and hopefully maybe prevent it. Although, are those Red Sea Wagons in danger? No, the 4 Axe Riders are going to avoid them. One Axe Rider actually splitting off to join the Lakota Chieftain and take down this Ethiopian Explorer. I really like that move by Grogu. That's just kind of some high-level stuff you won't see from mid or lower level players. So really nice move there. The 3 remaining Axe Riders are going to develop some vills. I don't think they got any kills though. And the Town Center gonna take out one of those Axe Riders. They are very, very expensive units. So he wants to make sure to conserve as many of those as possible. Bow Riders coming out, but now 2 war camps in the middle of the map. So maybe it is Ethiopia, Meloncola, who will be playing the aggressive play. And it is Gas Kenya's coming out for Meloncola, as long as the Ras. And yeah, we're going to be seeing some heavy infantry for Ethiopia. I think that's a strong play from them. I think, you know, based on the amount of cavalry that Lakota can get out and the relatively weak light infantry they have early on in Citan bows, I think Gas Kenya is a safe choice. However, I think maybe mixing in some Shoto warriors would make that composition even stronger. But it does look like Grogu is going to try to get some raids in and still not going to be able to get a villager here. The Bow Riders are not at a critical enough mass to actually go in and pick off villagers quickly. You usually need about, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10 Bow Riders to actually one-shot vills. So able to get those vills belled up. Meloncola doing a really nice job of keeping them safe. He's at 19 vills to Grogu's 20. So actually the early game advantage is in Grogu's favor as far as, you know, vill count. And he does have 2 trading posts. So we do see some good things going on from Lakota, but Ethiopia is certainly not out of this game yet. The gunmen are getting involved as well as the witch hunter. Oh, those treasure guardians. You gotta love them. More Gas Kenya coming out. Military is definitely in favor of Meloncola right now. The cavalry is strong for Lakota, but there's just not a lot they can do against this relatively effective heavy infantry. Out come the Citan bows. But this amount of Citan bows, I don't know if that's quite enough. Well, actually, he's got another batch there. So I think he'll be able to ward off these Gas Kenyas. Nice move there by Grogu. But in come the Sudanese dervishes. And, you know, the dervishes, I like the dervishes. I've never found them to be an incredibly good unit. You know, I think they are an okay unit, but compared to Shotel warriors, I think they would just be more helpful here. And more, oh, look at this. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 Shotel warriors making their way on the map. And if they can get a good surround on those Citan bows, they might be able to inflict some damage here, but very nice job by Grogu getting his infantry back. And hopefully there's enough bow riders to protect them. Although there's not a lot of bow riders on the map, and this might be the push that Meloncola's been looking for. He did go with the aggressive mid-map play, and we do have a lot of Gas Kenyas. We do have some Sudanese dervishes and those Shotel warriors tanking in the front, but those bow riders taking them out so quickly, along with the just sheer amount of Citan bow fire, a lot of DPS going on in the back of the map. But now oh my god, the Shotel warriors are in the back. They are taking out quite a few units, a lot of red, a lot of blue going down, so both players losing quite a bit of military here. And I think there's going to be enough Lakota troops here to keep the Ethiopian invasion at bay. Look at the amount of bow riders and Citan bows that are coming out right now. More Gas Kenyas being produced for Meloncola, and he did just send the band of Cannoneer mercenaries, but his entire army is going to get wiped out, and the Lakota army still relatively healthy, although quite a few of those Citan bows did die. Luckily, they're a pretty cheap unit. So, not enough Gas Kenyas here to resist, but 10 more are coming out. And I almost wonder if the war camp positioning would be better suited to maybe being a little bit closer to the trade line. Just off here, the reinforcement range is a little bit far. But in come the Cannoneers, and they are going to be a power surge here for Meloncola. I think that trading post is going to go down. 23 vills for the Ethiopian player, 26 for Lakota. So this aggressive play by Ethiopia, while not all in, is definitely costing him in his economy a little bit. We can see that he shipped 6 Gas Kenya as well as the band of Cannoneer mercenaries and has not sent 4 villagers yet or any upgrades. So it is definitely, you know, taking a little bit of a hit to his economy so far, though is keeping up with the Lakota player rather well. But we have to remember, Lakota, early game, not the best economy. So what is Lakota doing? He has sent 7 Setan bows. He sent 6 club. He sent the 13 bison. He sent Great Hunter. He sent the axe riders, and he sent 700 wood. So those trading posts paying off big time for Grogu, getting a lot of shipments out. But I don't know. The armies are, I would still say that Lakota has an advantage here, but those Cannoneers are going to be a nice power spike and more Shotel warriors hitting the map and lots of Gas Kenyas. And yeah, I mean, Grogu, if he can kind of keep his units protected, he's especially got to keep those expensive cavalry units very gold intensive. But I don't know, a lot of Gas Kenya is still going down here to the Setan bows. More Setan bows coming out this very instant. And look at the Gas Kenya numbers falling very, very quickly. It looks like the Sioux Chieftain did go down, plus 100 XP for Grogu. Oh, no, that was the Ethiopian Chieftain. And, oh, this is a close fight here. More Gas Kenyas coming in. The Cannoneers are not going to be able to carry enough to... it looks like Lakota's going to win this one, ladies and gentlemen. And not enough Gas Kenyas to body, and the Cannoneers just not doing enough work. So perhaps I called that one a little bit too early. It definitely looks like a definitive win for the Lakota player, though he did take quite a few losses, and those cavalry, while very effective, are very expensive. So the fact that his bow riders have gone down is definitely going to be something that is going to play a factor. And we can see that Lakota only has 5 villagers on coin right now. It looks like he's gone almost entirely into infantry production. No more cav coming out. Meanwhile, more Gas Kenya and more Shotel warriors coming out for Meloncola. They finally get into melee range. Is there going to be enough bow riders to protect those Setan bows? And I think there will be. But now that the Cannoneers are able to just sit in the back and do damage, and now even villagers are getting involved in the combat, something that Grogu definitely doesn't want to happen because it's really going to cut down on his economy even more. Meloncola at 27 vills, and now Grogu is only at 20. So Grogu must have taken severe villager losses in that last fight. And I think one of the reasons he won that fight so hard is he used those villagers to soak up a lot of HP, but now is really going to affect his economy. He's going to have to make something happen here. Otherwise, the Ethiopian player might be able to stack this aggression into a favorable mid-game position. Wow. I feel like I'm talking so fast, but like, with these high-level players, I mean, they just never rest. And I think that's what makes high-level players so amazing to watch, is just nothing is ever idle. Their military is constantly moving. Their economy is constantly moving. Things are constantly happening. And so to keep track of it is, it's tough, man. But I'm doing the best I can. Hopefully you guys think it's going okay. More Setan bows coming out from Grogu. And the amount of cavalry to protect them is starting to get bolstered a little bit. More bow riders coming out. But yeah, I mean, coin is definitely not something that Lakota player has a huge amount of access to. Meanwhile, Meloncola, more Gas Kenya, and look at the amount of Shotel warriors we got here. We have 24 Shotel warriors, so a huge amount of melee infantry, and these bow riders are going to have to be controlled very, very well. And right now, not enough ranged infantry to take out those bow riders, so can't get in with those Shotel warriors just yet. And it looks like he did. Yep, he sent the 6 Shotel warriors as well. He's now sent Prize Bull. He sent 700 influence quite a ways ago. And Grogu sent 700 coin, 600 coin. I think that's going to be used to continue to fuel his cavalry production. Neither player even sniffing the third age right now. And I think both players know that an investment like that, 2,200 resources, might be the death nail for either of them. So it looks like Meloncola is going to be satisfied here, just taking this second trading post. And I do like that. Even though Grogu, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of shipments to send anyways. He could send the cavalry damage or the camp movements, but I mean, I don't think he needs war huts right now. I think that cav card might be decent. But the TP is going to go down. Does get one more round of XP before it does hit the ground. More Gas Kenya coming out. Chieftain is back. And yeah, I'm really liking where Ethiopia is. It's currently 23 to 32, so a 9-villager lead for Ethiopia. And Meloncola now in a commanding position. He's got the economy, he's got the map control, and he's got the army. Though, Grogu is certainly not out of this game yet. He does have a large, massive Citan bows and quite a few bow riders. But once these Shotels slam in, with this many Gas Kenya to reinforce, I don't think there's enough bow riders there to keep this army at bay. Ladies and gentlemen, we might have the defining fight here. Let's make sure that we've got our camera focused so we don't miss one single moment. Those villagers are going to have to get inside. He cannot afford to lose more of his economy. He's already at a disadvantage. But look at this. 23 Gas Kenya, 23 Shotel warriors, and the Shotel warriors have officially engaged with the Citan bows, and now the bow riders are trying to keep them at bay, but the Gas Kenya, the mass is big enough to keep those bow riders from doing too much damage. Now villagers going down as well. They're trying to body block, but they're not going to be able to do enough. A lot of Citan bows going down. The Lakota chief is now down as well. Another 100 XP for Meloncola, and a really good engagement here. More villagers going down. It's now 34 vills to 16 at the 16-minute mark. Irony. And wow, I think Sue might be able to clean this up one more time, but the amount of damage he took on this engagement, I think might be too much to recover from. And look, more villagers coming out to defend his base. And I wonder if this is just a Hail Mary from Grogu. Maybe he's already known that the game is lost. But 16 vills versus 35 now. We have almost double villager score for Ethiopia, along with map control, no trading post for Lakota, no cards to send, and meanwhile, neither player is going up to the third age still. It looks like Meloncola now sending 700 coin, which is going to be a great shipment for him to have in the late game. Meanwhile, it looks like Grogu has sent 700 and 600 coin already. So while Meloncola is going to have that huge burst in coin, Grogu's going to have to gather it all naturally. And right now, he just doesn't have the villagers to do that. But a nice raid here on Meloncola's villagers, trying to get a sneaky granary and hut up here, and this might be exactly what he needs, down to 34 vills. But again, there's not enough bow riders here to one-kill these vills. If he had maybe an extra 5 bow riders, maybe 6 bow riders, he could be one-shotting these villagers, and it's just not happening. And so these villagers able to get all the way back to their town while only taking a couple of losses. So a really good raid by Grogu. Don't get me wrong, that was really nicely done. He just didn't have the mass to do enough damage there to really sway the game either way. And now more Gas Kenya coming out, more Shotel warriors coming out, and the amount of units coming from Lakota is pretty small. The flow is getting weaker and weaker as the resources are coming in slower and slower. And while these bow riders are being pesky, once the push into the Lakota base comes in, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold it a third. Is it third or fourth time? I don't think he's going to be able to hold it again, is what I'm trying to say. Though we do see Meloncola. Oh, I hit my mic. He is running out of food here. So, I mean, he's having to push quite far to get food, but at the same time, so is Grogu. This is just kind of a low hunt map. And now look at these Shotel warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, what a nice catch for Meloncola here. So many of these Citan bowmen coming down, and the Shotel warrior is an MVP. Hashtag don't forget about Shotel. Oh my gosh, these guys are going crazy. And then the Gas Kenya is just putting the damage in the back. And now that all these Citan bows are gone, there's just not going to be enough to deal with these Gas Kenyas. These bow riders are very good, but I just don't think there's enough of them to really keep this many Gas Kenya at bay. And there is the game. Ladies and gentlemen, what an awesome match. That was a quick one. A 19-minute game compared to the 40-minute game we had 2 weeks ago. So kind of a refreshing game, but a really aggressive back and forth. Now, I don't know how Lakota and Ethiopia scale. I know that neither of them are what you might consider to be like top tier civs, right? In fact, I think both of them are either mid tier or maybe even low tier. There are certainly civs in their niche that are better, right? So like for the African civs, I would definitely say Hausa is stronger. And then for the native civs, I think you could definitely make a case that Haudenosaunee is stronger. I would argue that Aztec is stronger. I would argue that Inca is stronger. I think Lakota is probably actually the worst native civ in the game, which is really sad because the Lakota tribe is, the tribe I live really close to. I have friends that are Lakotas, so they are still really an interesting civ, but it would be nice to see them maybe get buffed a little bit. They just seem like kind of a one-trick pony. But with that said, let's head into the post game right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the post game, and the tail of the tape once again is in the resources. So 19,000 for Grogu, 25,000 for Meloncola, and after that first initial fight where, it looked like Grogu had the villager advantage, a very slight advantage for most of the game, and then Meloncola really started taking over there once he sent his Vil card, and once he got a couple of good raids in, and a lot of those Vils got caught in that initial base engagement. It was really, really tough for Grogu. His economy was really crippled. And then when we moved to the military, 124 versus 190, those Gas Kenya able to soak up so much damage, even put a little DPS down in the back. And it does look like Grogu killed far more units, but again, he was just outproduced to the point where he couldn't continue production. And yeah, really nice use of his C-Tan bows, and the C-Tan bow rider combo. I like it. It's a bit awkward with the resources you need to make those units. And, that's why I really struggle with Lakota, because, you try to make C-Tan bow, which are wood and food, and then you try to switch over to bow rider, which are so heavy in the coin cost. And so you send your 700, you send your 600, and eventually, you're out of bow riders, and the Fortress Age is not even, tenable. So that's just a tough place for Lakota to be in. But if we go to the timelines here, we do see that the villager count took a huge drop. Okay, here it is. At the 11-minute mark, we had 29 versus 26. So a lead for Lakota, and then 29 all the way to 21. A huge 8 villager loss, and then slowly gets back up, and then another huge loss in that fight. And Ethiopia just continued to scale here. Did take a couple of drops on that raid, but nothing substantial. 36 to 19 at the end. And no matter how good your micro is, at 2,000 plus ELO, if you have that big of a villager gap, there's really no coming back from that. Perhaps against weaker players, it's possible, but these players don't allow for deficits like that to keep you in the game. And we do see the military count here. Again, Meloncola taking an advantage. But, I mean, let's be totally fair to Grogu here. He took some of these fights really well. I mean, he was outnumbered in every single fight, right? And he was still able to win a lot of these fights. So we have 1 win here. We have 2 wins here. But again, you measure the economy and the military. And yes, he's winning these fights militarily, but economically, he was really struggling. And then, we see the final fight here. And wow, 61 military units. So really, really interesting stuff here. A really nice, short, quick game, a high-level game. The perfect way to get us into 2024. But again, guys, if you have games that you want casted, or you have specific types of games you want to see, whether it's 1v1s, 2v2s, free-for-alls, anything like that, all you got to do is let me know, and I will do my best to find them and bring them to you as quickly as possible. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I will see you next Thursday. Until then, have a great day. Have a great life. See you later.